Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to the ASX Small Cap of the Day, Percheron Therapeutics. Now, before I get into this company, why this company is a small cap of the day, I just want to clarify something. Now, in my opinion, there are two things or two goals as an investor. The first goal is to grow our capital over time. You may want to grow your capital slowly or quickly. That can all depend on your strategies. But the second goal should be to protect our capital. And I think protecting your capital becomes more important as your capital grows. So when you start investing, I think growing your capital is way more important than protecting. But as your capital grows, protecting your capital becomes more and more important. And at some point, protecting your capital is actually more important than growing your capital. And that is something I've coming to realize, definitely coming to realize over the last few years, that protecting my capital is really important. And I think sometimes investors don't really appreciate that, don't really acknowledge that, or don't really think that's important. And I can definitely understand it if your capital is not that strong to start off with, if you really need to grow your capital. But I think one of the reasons I'm talking about this is because these sort of companies, pre-revenue pharmaceutical companies, there's a lot of risk. And I think as your capital grows, these sort of companies become less and less and less attractive. And I'll talk about that during this video and why I find these sort of situations highly intriguing, because I do know some people who have lost a lot of their capital, if not all their capital, because they've invested in these type of companies. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go through this company very quickly, what they do, because what they do is really intriguing, and I hope this company is successful. And then I'll look at the announcement that has sort of been the motivation for me doing this video. And then we'll have a look at the share price, how it's performed, and then we'll have a look at the chart. Okay, so let's have a quick look at what this company does. This is the homepage. Now, this company deals with treatments for multiple sclerosis and also muscular dystrophies. You can have a look at their pipeline. In fact, they do have a nice little graph or table, whatever we'll call it, at where the trial status is for all their treatments. So we're talking about phase 2, phase 1, and preclinical. Typically, I only get excited about these sort of companies when they get to phase 3, and I more than likely will not invest in these sort of companies until I see successful phase 3 trials. So I'll just mention that right now, and this company is well short of that at this point in time. Okay, so this company is in the trial status. So the success or failure of this company is highly dependent on whether their trials are successful or not. And the other day, on the 16th, so I'm recording this video on the 18th, the company went into training halt in regards to the results of one of their trials. And this can be make or break for the company, and it could lead to significant increase in shareholder capital. If a shareholder has put a lot of capital into this company, they could see their capital grow significantly, maybe 50%, 100%. Now, this was only phase 2 trials, so more than likely it would be more like 10 or 20%, not 100%. I've seen phase 3 or successful phase 3 trials, and the share price of that company has increased over 100%. Anyway, and on the flip side, if the trial is not successful, share price can drop significantly. In fact, the downside risk for unsuccessful trial, phase 2 trial, is much greater than the upside risk for a successful phase 2 trial, because you still need to go through the phase 3 trial. Also, you need to get FDA approval, that sort of thing. And that's another reason why I don't typically invest in these sort of companies, because the upside is not that great if phase 2 is successful. But we'll see today what happens when phase 2 is unsuccessful, when it's a failure, what the downside risk is. So they went into training hold 2 days ago for the results of this particular trial. And this is the announcement. Here we go. Top line, 6-month results from randomized phase 2B study of avocasen in DMD, which is one of the muscular dystrophies treatments. The most important thing here is the second key point. And in fact, it's the first 7 words. The trial did not meet its primary endpoint. Case closed. Unsuccessful trial. This was, unsuccessful trial. It was a failure. It did not meet its primary endpoint. So hopefully you know what happens in the trial process. There's some people who receive a placebo, some people who receive the treatment, and you need to see some sort of sign, statistically significant difference between the two. In this case, there was no any significant difference between the two, and that's why it was unsuccessful. It was safe and well tolerated, but that's not important because a drug can be absolutely safe and well tolerated, but if it has no effect on the end user, then what's the point of it? They also mention in the fourth key point that they are terminating this particular study, this particular treatment, no longer moving forward. Now, I'm not sure if this is the end of the company. Maybe because they have a few things in the pipeline, maybe they have something else in the pipeline that could be successful. So I'm not sure if this is the end of the company. But it seems like the market is a little bit skeptical because the share price of Percheron is down 88%. In fact, at one point today, the share price was as low as 0.5 cents. Share price yesterday, or not yesterday, the last day it traded, closed at 5.9 cents. So yes, the share price of this company has dropped from 5.9 cents to 0.7 cents in one day because of an unsuccessful phase 2 trial. Now, if this was a successful trial, I would probably say the share price might have increased 10%. And again, that's another reason why I don't invest in these sort of companies, because my main goal right now is to protect my capital. Yes, my main goal is to protect my capital. It's also to grow my capital, but I want to protect my capital. And this probably would have destroyed my capital, but if I put a lot of money into it, it would have absolutely destroyed my capital. Okay, so let's have a look at a chart for Percheron, which can be really interesting. And this is interesting because the share price of this company was in an uptrend, moved into an uptrend in February of this year. And for some reason, in September, October, there was a bit of excitement about this company. Share price went from 8 cents to a high of 14 cents. And then the company did a capital raising. That's why you see a significant drop on the 18th of October. The company did a capital raising at 8 cents. And just imagine you participated. I was going to say anticipated. You participated in that capital raising. You bought some shares, more shares at 8 cents, and now share price has decreased to 5.9. You have not had a good end to 2024. Okay, so that's what I'm going to talk about when it comes to the ASX small cap of the day. Percheron Therapeutics, not a good news story, I know, but this is something we can learn a lot about. We can learn a lot. This can happen a lot. I have seen this happen to many companies on the ASX, not only in the biopharmaceutical sector, but also in the mining exploring sector. I have seen miner explorers get dusts, like oil companies hit dust, that sort of thing. I think dust, or what do they call it? And I have seen share price of those companies drop 95% in one day. So just be aware, if you are attracted to these sort of companies, that this can happen and happens quite a bit. Okay, that's all I have. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own needs, that sort of thing. Anyway, that's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.